beautiful nerds. Welcome to our 6th session back with Shadows of Ashcaleen, exploring the homebrew world of Odromia with 2 new cast members. I'm excited to continue this journey with this new cast of characters as they sojourn through this world, encountering all manner of new and exciting adventures. But who better to introduce themselves than our wonderful cast, starting at the top with Michael.
Hello, I am Michael St. Gregory. I go by he, him. I am playing I'm playing somebody, all right. And I cannot wait to introduce to you Sir Belvedere. Find out more as we go on.
Rain.
Hello, y'all. My name is Rain on the socials of TikTok and Instagram. I'm Virgo_Rain for all of my cosplay and mermaiding adventures. And I will be playing Fig tonight, who is a Sorlock satyr.
And returning with her character, we have Jess.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica. I also go by I Sneeze Stars online in places like TikTok and Instagram. And tonight I will be playing Elindra Shadowgast, the party's Hellfire Warlock.
And of course, as always, I'm your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, Andy, aka Mr.DanDyDM, and I can be found on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, on all the socials. If you happen to come across this episode and you enjoy it, please consider catching some of our other shows like The Survivors of Ashcaleen and our brand new pirate D&D show, Our Flag Means Doom. We do, of course, appreciate all of you who have liked and subscribed thus far. And now that we have got our introductions out of the way, let us dive into our first episode with this new cast of Shadows of Ashcaleen. Elindra, your flames are gone. You are standing amidst the snowy peaks of a mountain somewhere in the far, far west. Right now, with your flames gone in the middle of what appears to be some kind of blizzard at this very high altitude, you can sort of make out barely where the ground descends sharply ahead of you. The cold has gripped you, and you feel just like spears of ice just piercing into you at this moment. Your body is completely feels broken, and you are exhausted. You see, standing off to your right, 2 other forms, the bodies of Dr. Manavel and Joanna. And as you reach towards them, there is that familiar glow of that celestial light that wrapped you when Kitty first teleported you to this location. And suddenly, they are gone. You find yourself alone. Whether it's through some kind of spell or some kind of telepathy, you hear a voice, a familiar one. It sounds like cousin. Oh, that was a close one. Well, I'll be seeing you very, very soon. And then the voice is gone.
Cool.
What do you do?
don't think she knows what to do. I think there's a moment where she does like a 360, kind of stumbles over her dress a little bit, and ends up in the snow.
Oh my God, this is
Well,
so sad.
this is... You didn't even take me with you. How dare you? Rude, and also uncalled for, cousin. And she'll get herself back up.
You struggle to your feet, sort of like trying to pull, just weakly, just pull everything together, your skirt in the snow, and all of a sudden, two very different lights on either side of you. One with this green vegetative looking color suddenly appears next to you. Rain, will you tell us what Fig looks like?
Yes. Disheveled, confused, and chilled to the bone. She is very tall for her race, sitting over 6 feet tall. Has these her horns curve up from her head and in here, and then she also has these like dual horns in the back, though, just to add extra oomph to her silhouette. She has very long, wavy, like golden brown hair. The top half of her face is like a burgundy that goes down to like a brown color. She's wearing like, corset, just a performer kind of outfit, very flowy fabrics, and overly polished, if you can tell in the snow, which probably won't now, but she will overly polish hooves. She really takes pride in those. And she also has like her fawn ears that do come out and always twitch in response. But no, currently right now, she's actually really confused.
Elindra, please give me a history check.
So not great if we want to go with this history check and not the history check that we did before the game. Because this one I rolled a 2.
Wait, wait. That's right. We did. Thank you for reminding me. So in our session 0, we had a dice roll. And I believe you rolled a 17.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That's right. So we will not take the 2. And we will instead take that roll. Elindra, it takes you a second, but you do know, you don't know who this person is, but you've seen them before. And you recall that as you were talking with Dr. Manavel and Lady Brigida, the head of the resistance in Ashcaleen, dancing inside the main circle of the round top of the Circus of the Twilight Serenade was this satyr, who was like almost like the second in command of this circus, underneath the ringmaster, who you also encountered. That is only one of the 2 lights. On the opposite side, on your left, suddenly a silver light, bright, a clarion, just shining proudly next to you. How tall is Sir B? I believe you're muted.
A prominent 7'1" statuesque individual, as it were, of plate armor from head to toe.
The reason that I'm laughing is that Elindra, how tall is Elindra?
Lindra's like 5'4". She's short for an elf.
Suddenly,
You're short for an elf, and I'm tall for a satyr.
yeah. So, you see this 7-foot tall armored. I mean, based off of the markings on the armor, they're a paladin of Bahamut. The only way you know that is because of Joanna's armor, as they were also a paladin of Bahamut. Albeit they were an ASMR, and you don't know what this person is. But yes, you all three of you find yourselves standing confusedly atop this mountain range.
Immediately, Sir Belvedere takes out his sword and shield in a protective stance. What sorcery is this?
Oh,
If he does that,
Yeah.
Elindra, she just casts bonfire on herself. Like, come at me.
No! I was not meant to be fighting evil such day. Today was a day of ceremony. And yet I find myself in the bitter cold amongst individuals that I have never seen before.
I don't know who you are, but your god sucks. And also, it's rude for you to be so tall.
Now, hold on. Harsh words do not need to be spoken about such deities in such ways. The silver dragon does not, the platinum dragon rather, does not bespoke such words upon smaller folk like you. And yet here we are immediately. I misspoke. I apologize. I have found myself in a strange predicament amongst individuals I have never met before. Where are we? And what happened?
I don't know, but your voice has a bit of an echo in there. Can you lift your hand?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's a little stuck there, are we?
Seems to be in a bit of a frozen matter of.
You need grease. And then Fig just kind of like
No.
rubbing her hands close to Elindra.
Please, there's only specific
Quickly lube him up.
there are specific materials I need to make sure that the maintenance of this polish of shine is, no offense to you, I am sure it is fine, but yes, I seem to be stuck in the moment, but it is keeping me warm for the most part.
Yes.
You're warm and metal in the snow.
Well, there's padding.
You're wonderful, by the way. Elindra turns to Fig.
We have
I saw you
immediately changed
play.
course, it seems, in terms of attitudes towards each other. I apologize for coming across so fierce. I was just very frightened by the fact that at one moment I was ready to be ceremoniously gifted a title, and the next I find myself in near frozen situations and climates.
Oh, you were very intimidating. I was almost scared, and now I'm glad that, you know what, maybe you would have my back. Even though I can't see your eyes.
I guess we all just need a bit of finding our bearings, as it were. And perhaps we need to do so in much more temperate situation. This is
I
far
don't
too
have
cold.
You, but I'm fine as I sit in my bonfire.
Yeah, Fig keeps really close to Elindra.
This
You make
bonfire,
fire.
neither of the other two people would know, based off of what they have no idea about Elindra at all. So this bonfire, Elindra, is much, much smaller
I'm very worried.
than it normally is.
Yeah.
It's like a little
Can you just DM me really quick? How many point? I believe it was a certain number of exhaustion.
Do you want me to DM you or do you want me to just tell you?
Go ahead and DM me.
Too many is what we're at.
Yep. I think that's what I recall. Okay. Yeah. It is a bonfire, but it would be a bonfire to halflings and gnomes, and not to 7 foot, 6 foot individuals.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be so tall. Speaking of bearings, though, is there, with my, I'll turn around again. Do I know anything about where we are?
No, you have no recollection. You know that Kitty teleported you based off of you have no correspondence with Kitty. Kitty basically just did this as a last ditch effort to get you all to safety.
Yeah.
And it seems that in doing so, they completely sacrificed themselves to deposit you here out of harm's way. You have no idea what has become of Dr. Manavel or Joanna, as they also appear to have vanished. As you do your sort of your 360 degree, again, sort of looking around, you have very low visibility because of the snow. You do see that where you are on the mountainside, it does look like it slopes up even further into a higher altitude, but you can't see much further beyond. And then you do see that there is a sharp drop, but then it continues to slow down. It's a sharp drop of about 30 feet. And then it starts to slope down towards, you can't quite make out, but it is some kind of a valley down there.
So I think we should go down as I point towards this valley.
And I feel that it has been ever so rude of me to have started such conversation without introducing myself. My name is Sir Belvedere, and I am here at your service, for you shall be protected. He puts his sword down into the ground, just in a stance. He's looking off into the distance, as if there's like... In his head, music is playing, but...
Just Elindra just sighs with the like... This would be ever so charming if we weren't freezing to death.
Oh, if you need charm, I bring the charm. And then so Fig just like lifts up her skirts and just like walks like the cold doesn't bother her. Very Elsa. And just starts walking the way in the direction of which Elindra was saying. And as she walks by Sir Belvedere, she just like ting on his armor, little wink, and just keeps going what direction that she assumes is the way to go.
Fig, give me a performance check.
Performance check. All right.
A lot of work into this. Please be
Plus
careful
8.
with the polish on
Oh,
this.
17 plus 8, 25.
Jeez.
Both, unless anyone wants to roll opposed, both Sir Belvedere and Elindra think that you know exactly where you're going, and the cold doesn't bother you at all. In fact, it seems like you were made for the cold.
I am confident in this individual's abilities to take us to safety. Let us make haste and follow.
And then she turns
Elindra picks up her skirts.
You know, yeah.
So in terms of the order, it's Fig, Elindra, and then Sir Belvedere.
I think Elindra would end up falling behind. She's got a lot of levels of exhaustion. She doesn't look great. She's been in a fight. So, like, you guys can tell that she's been in a fight. She doesn't look great.
Yes, Elindra, actually, for the benefit of Sir Belvedere and for Fig, would you please describe what Elindra looks like?
Yes.
Both in general, but currently as well.
Well, in general, she's about 5'4", very slender, high elf, with honey-colored eyes and long, silvery white hair. Very uncanny valley-esque looking. Too perfect in a sense. Gives people... The impression you get when you look at her is one of, oh, that's adorable, but also, that's unsettling. That's what she leaves people with. But currently, while normally pristine in every possible way, looks like she's been put through the ringer. In a fight, looks exhausted, bags under her eyes, and is having trouble keeping her balance. Yes, Mary Poppins exactly is what we were going for.
That actually, in previous sessions, it has been stated multiple times that Elindra is Mary Poppins.
Directed by Guy Ritchie.
Exactly, to the point of, with the short dress well, the ankle height dress that she picks up to walk places.
In seeing that you are falling behind, I will ask approach and just, are you in need of aid in terms of being able to transport yourself?
You're going to carry me.
Oh, but I have something better. And I will raise my sword into the air, and I will cast Summon Steed.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Or Find Steed, rather.
Find Steed.
Now, granted, it does take 10 minutes, but I'm going to leave that up to you.
I'll say you
just
is
anticlimactic.
Belvedere standing for 10 minutes with sword
I'll
in
say,
air?
Sir Belvedere, before we go ahead and cast this, just looking at Elindra, you can tell that if you were to wait 10 minutes, they might not live.
And I look, I shall be your steed. And I get into a position so that you can climb onto my back.
This is very undignified. My name is Elindra, by the way, as I definitely mount you.
As I get onto your knees so that you may be able to get onto the cape that's on the back of the armor, so it's not frozen cold. Sir Belvedere, we'll get to that. But Sir Belvedere, for now, at your service.
That's right. He doesn't have his title, so he's like always making one up.
Pleasure to
yes.
meet you.
Belvedere the Benevolent at the moment. Yeah, that'll do. Alley-oop.
Does it change often?
Well, kind of goes with where the tide takes me.
Elindra, you're
Admittedly,
actually
I am
making
no saint.
you're making a decent pace now, keeping right behind Fig. Fig, you're just trotting along, just you're very light on your feet, even for someone who's over 6 feet tall. You are making very little imprint, if any, in the snowbanks that you're sort of trudging over. Not the same for Sir Belvedere. Sir Belvedere, it's and sinks immediately, like almost knee deep into the snow. But they are very strong, and they don't seem the least bit bothered by carrying someone who of Elindra's frame. Elindra is very slight and just sort of like a cloud. And they just trudging behind Fig, who's just very dainty. 6 foot dainty person. And you do eventually, you're making your way down, the embankment, down over the side of this portion of this mountain range. At a certain point, as you get to a certain elevation, you realize that you are no longer in the thick of the snowstorm that was happening above. And the snow has started to clear at least just enough where you can see out over down the side of this mountain, out into the distance, where you see what looks to be beneath you a river valley of some kind. And off in the distance, much further off, you do see what looks to be some kind of town, maybe a small city.
I do believe there is a hamlet not too far in the distance of where we can take refuge.
Sir Belvedere, give me a perception check.
16.
On a 16. Whether it's the armor and sort of the way you're kind of able to sort of pick up vibrations just because of how it sort of rattles through your armor, even through the padding that you're currently wearing, you feel the earth quake beneath your feet, just ever so slightly, like a slight tremor. And then suddenly you hear off in the distance, almost like the very hinting of like almost a sonic boom. And you look off to the north, and you see for the very first time what looks to be a volcano.
Oh my stars and garters. How far does this threat look?
currently does not look threatening. It is a active volcano. It looks to be on the other side of the river that you are approaching. It past the city up into the north.
So is it in any way kind of like, is it just kind of like a wonder of nature I'm beholding, or is it like that's going to melt that city?
Very much a wonder of nature currently.
Ah, the gloriousness of the wonders one can behold when one just takes time to look. My friends, look! The beauty of a volcano.
Do I know? Does that like tip me off at all? I'm very well read.
Elindra, based off of the readings in the libraries in the Elven schools that you attended in the Crystal Expanse, the only volcano that you've ever heard mentioned in any of the literature that you've consumed would be Mount Kegum, which is part of the Grogram mountain range, which is where the fabled ancient kingdom of the dwarves used to be before they shuffled off and took to a new life of piracy on the high seas.
Well, we are maybe somewhere near old ruins of dwarves. I don't know.
Good to have someone
Unless-
who knows the lay of the land and the history of it as well. Sally forth, everyone. Let's keep going.
That
No time
assumes
to
we're
waste.
still on this continent.
I'm just still walking.
All right. Where are you going? Are you a tiefling? Oh no, wait. Fig. Are you allowed to tell me that?
Am I allowed to tell you my name?
I believe that our friend here is going with one of the old legends of your kind of whether a name shall be stolen once we give it to you.
So let me clarify on that. You see these horns? And you notice on both sides of our horns, besides honeycombs are on there, there's other little like blackberries on there, and there are a couple of figs on both sides. This is what you called me. So don't worry, Elindra.
You see?
Fine.
Nothing to worry about. We're all
No,
friends almost immediately.
No. Just don't give them don't give her your first name. Should I just pat the armor?
What would I do with the name? What have you heard? I love hearing stories about me.
Do you?
Yes, of course.
Oh, well.
Nothing that fine with a bit of, familiar vanity, as it were.
Of course. I mean, it's a little bit of a self-image. It has to be healthy to be with her.
A valor of self-respect, as it were.
I will take that. I like that. A valor of self-respect. Yes. So
You
what
are
can I
from the
Crunch.
Fey Circus, aren't you?
Crunch through the snow.
I'm just like walking down side by side with you guys right now.
You say that you say that question, Elindra, but it more comes out as, are you from the
just
Fey Circus?
No, by the end, I just give up the question. Oh, fuck.
This is too bumpy.
I'm gonna throw up.
Oh, no. We'll have none of that. You need any sort of refreshments?
You carry a bar on you as well. No.
I have rations.
Oh, that makes one of us.
And I just kind of like go to my pouch that I have connected to the armor on the side just to easily give a piece to my new elven friend here.
I don't think I should take if I eat that.
It's rudimentary. It's good. It's got all the basic vitamins, minerals, and that one needs for daily excursion.
I just take it, but I'm holding on to it. Like, where am I putting this? Because I can't eat it now, or I will vomit it back out on the.
Once you get past the dry taste of it, it seems to go down quite easily.
Elindra, give me a Constitution saving throw right now.
Oh wait, with disadvantage.
Yeah, those weren't Cheez-Its.
That's
I've
not
had
bad.
my
Okay,
fill.
with disadvantage, that's an 18.
With an 18.
Lovely.
You take that first, like, not even a bite. It's like a very paltry nibble of this piece of, like, what is it, like bread or hardtack?
It's basically like hardtack, like a granola bar, but just like
But not good.
It's not good. It's meant to be like, listen, this is meant to just let you survive.
Yeah.
I feel like
You
it's
take
sucking the moisture out of her mouth. Like her
Yeah.
jaws are almost like stuck.
you take that first nibble, and initially you feel like all of your everything internal wants to just leave your body all at once. But then you remember everything that has happened to you in the last 2 hours. And that kindles a fiery rage in you.
I just rage eat it.
And it is literally you rage eat it in this
There you
moment.
are.
You just
swallow it down.
you force bottle everything up, and you just push it all down. And it's like an old-timey Civil War cannon. You take the packing and you stick it into the barrel and you shove it down with the finger, and then you put the ball in, and now it's primed and it's ready to be fired. Just one thing might just set it off. So,
Have we made it to thinner snow by any chance?
yes, at this
Okay.
point, you have made it through. It is very difficult terrain, so you're moving at like your half speed.
Mhm.
But except for Fig, who is like still.
Bopping along.
If there was a tune that you could associate with your movement, Fig, what would it be?
Sunshine.
Oh, how amazing. That's actually a really great question.
Miley Cyrus's "Party in the USA"?
You know,
I
Oh,
imagine what's the
walking
one
on
that people wear
sunshine.
the towels over their head and they do like the goose walk from that animated
Oh,
film?
like do, 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 do,
Yeah,
do,
that
do,
one.
people get, oh yeah, and they do the whole silly thing.
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's
Yeah.
it.
Nothing, even though the chaos that you've been through, Fig, in the last hour or so, and some of the things that you saw before arriving at this location, whether it's healthy or not, you have decided that mentally you're not going to process any of that right now.
Mhm.
And it is just, I'm good. We're good. We're
I
totally
cast
great.
disassociate.
I cast disassociate.
I guess. Yep.
Sir Belvedere, you have Elindra on your back. Thankfully, you're in lighter snow now.
Yes.
And you are making your way towards this river, on the other side of which is this, looks to be old city.
Mm.
What
We
are
all
some
notice that
thoughts?
too? Yeah.
Sorry?
We all noticed that too, right?
Yes, you all noticed it at this point because the snow, you're beneath the snowstorm, which happened up at the higher elevation, so you're able to have better visibility. Sir Belvedere, what are some of the thoughts that are going through your mind as you are approaching this unknown city?
One is relief that there's civilization ahead and that they can find a chance to figure out where they are if they just talk to the locals and find a place to rest and heal up anything that may seem, that needs to be healed, and just have a chance to reset and figure out, get their bearings and figure out what the next step is, but at least he is not alone in doing so. But he will make sure that these two are under good care.
Is there anything that Sir Belvedere is sort of repeating to himself right now.
He is
In his
going over
mind.
the tenets of the Oath of Devotion. And I will look that up real quick because I used to know them.
Don't slip. Don't slip.
Yeah. So in his mind, he's just kind of repeating, the tenets of honesty, courage, compassion, honor, duty. Honesty, courage, compassion, honor, duty. And just in a loop, he's just like using it as he's trudging along to kind of just remember, this is what keeps you strong, this is what keeps you this is what can keep them protected, and this is what will help you as well.
She asked that of Sir Belvedere, as because she can.
Oh, yeah. He's just muttering like, what? No, just something I like to do to keep me focused. Yes.
Well, I've read you talk to yourself as a sign of intelligence. So,
Well, then I must be one of the most intelligent people you will ever know.
you are Sir Intelligent.
Wait. Hold on. I can see how that can be confusing. I don't talk to myself often. It is just a matter of training expertise that I've had where speaking out loud, and he just kind of starts to ramble at this point until he realizes no one's actually listening.
Elindra, whether it's the sound of Sir Belvedere's voice or the sheer exhaustion of everything that you've been through since you witnessed the fall of the city of Ashcaleen, but you very quickly find yourself just slipping in and out of consciousness.
100%. Every now and then, he's not sure if he's jostled her too much and gotten like the back of her head or the front of her head just smacking the back of his, or she's just 100%.
Oh, careful there. Watch yourself. This is still metal. It can hurt.
At one point, as you feel your head just sort of very slowly drop and your eyes sort of momentarily close, I need you to give me a wisdom save.
Dude, it's the first episode. Don't kill any of us.
Ooh,
It's the first episode after a very tumultuous fifth episode.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That's 17. Is that 17? Am I right? Hang on, I'm getting my calculator.
What'd you roll?
Oh yeah. No, it's 17.
17?
No, that's charisma. Wisdom. I did that wrong. Sorry, 13.
13. On a 13, as you feel your head sort of very gently, your cheek touch the metal of the area around Sir Belvedere's neck armor piece, your eyes close momentarily, and suddenly, right in front of you, his cousin's face. And you see almost an inquisitive look. And you look and see like Belvedere's armor, but in place of Belvedere's helmet and where his head should be, the body is still moving forward, but Graz'zt's head is turned backwards towards you.
Yeesh.
And you see an inquisitive, and you see Sir Belvedere's arms go from where they should be, moving side by side, some twisting around and poking with one of his six-fingered hands your forehead. Stay awake, Elindra. Stay awake. We're not done yet. Suddenly, your head makes impact as you are jostled by Sir Belvedere. Sir Belvedere, you sort of found a firmer patch of snow, but then the other foot stepped and it was not firm, and suddenly you realize you are stepping into shallow ice water. Right at the edge of the river. You weren't sure exactly where the river started, but you realize, that's it. That's where the river starts.
I have found the beginning of the river.
I careen offwards. Like,
No. Can I try and catch her?
I'm like, she's trying to like dodge out of someone's way suddenly.
Okay. Give me an athletics check at disadvantage, and Sir Belvedere an opposed strength check for like you're not trying to grapple her though.
Do you think it would be dexterity? Because I'm trying to like reflexively try and catch her.
Yeah, sure. Give me a dexterity check.
8, by the way. She's not doing well.
Unnatural 20.
Bro.
Unnatural 20. Okay. Yeah. You
No
no idea
almost
what
lost
has
you
happened
there.
to Elindra, but you feel suddenly her grip suddenly tighten for a second, and then she immediately lets go. It's almost like a cat that has been surprised. It's like
I'm now like accidentally cradling you. Like,
yeah, and you just immediately like grab and
hello.
There's got like the karate chop hands there going. Like, who's under the mask? Who's there right now?
It's still me. It's Belvedere. It's kind of sealed at the moment.
It's got holes there, right? Like,
so okay. This this is a weird thing for me to ask a DM, but can I ask Elindra to make a perception check or an investigation check on my helmet?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
With disadvantage.
I will have to message you privately.
I shit you not. 2 nat 20s.
Oh, well, definitely getting a private message.
Take a picture of that. Oh my God.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
I'm like, that's
100%.
so rare.
I mean, that is. I mean, shit is going to be all the way downhill for y'all for the rest of this session. You do realize that?
No.
I know.
Yeah.
Giving all
I'll
of
here.
these
I'm putting it in chat
rolls
right now.
until combat.
All right. I have messaged you, Elindra, what you quote unquote see or observe as you look in my helmet.
Okay.
Hello, friend. Can I safely put you down?
Yeah, don't touch me anymore.
And he will like just easily like just get too quickly to a knee to set you up and just dust himself off, and then all right, it seems we all have ourselves on the level, as it were. Shall we go to town and find out exactly where we are?
Okay.
Yes.
Elindra is looking at you right now like, this is not the vibe. This did not make it better.
I've read about this actually. This is called a moment. You all just share the moment. It's so romantic.
But if it's a moment, you don't share it.
You both had this long gaze at each other.
If I may,
I was staring for a moment.
You can hear the flusteredness in his voice. I'm sorry to say that as much as you may have perceived such a moment, my heart, as it were, does belong to another, as it were, far from here, as it may seem. And
is it the abyss?
Oh, you're spicy.
that is a questionable thing to respond with, so I shall hope that you are just joking. Wonderful, we love joking.
I'm so funny. I'm so funny.
Very good. Good chuckle for all of us. To town.
So Fig just grabs the bottom respectfully of Belvedere's like his helmet and just turns it like right where they're like nose to nose.
Yes.
You love her, the one who has your heart.
Yes, of course.
Okay?
I'm devoted to her.
Do not share moments with anybody else then, okay? That was the first and last time. Understood.
Yes,
How rude
yes,
of you,
I apologize.
cheating on your beloved.
Integrity. I read
But
about
it's,
it
but
before.
I heard
How was I supposed to know that you were?
in this moment, how much fun is Fig and Elindra having flustering Sir Belvedere?
1,000%.
He is shaking in his armor.
You need the
Yeah, just like
silly symbols.
To think I was falling in love with you.
No. I know this is a good joke, a jest at my expense. I can understand. I've hung with many a jester to understand a good jape at my expense. So yes, I will go forth and see this all as such. Good, cutting words, as it were. And he just keeps marching forward.
Yeah, no, I was like,
No, you don't.
No.
There is
Into the water.
As I said
Oh,
before,
no!
you step and suddenly you find your left leg has gone well over the ankle into water.
I forgot about the water.
how far is the bank the other side?
Oh, it's a distance.
The distance, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, think of the distance that the Brooklyn Bridge spans.
That is not the way we
okay.
should go. It's also very cold. Very, very cold. Oh my.
Yes.
Is there a pathway across anywhere that we can see?
Yes, DM, that is a good question.
Give me actually, all three of you, give me a perception check.
Very well.
I don't like it. I just rolled 2 10s too.
Yeah. My perception, 4 and a 1, 5.
I am far too cold. I also rolled a 5.
15.
Okay. On a 15, you, Elindra, even though you are weak, you are thoroughly done with this shit. And you are a child of the fire, of the unity, and right now your flame is in danger of being put out permanently without any hope of rejoining, even though you had your misgivings about wanting to go back.
Will not die like this.
You didn't anticipate ending your time in a place other than where that cold is. And so you feverishly, just frantically, just looking around, and you see, again, off to the north, just a couple hundred yards up, you see this what looks to be some kind of rowboat dinghy, almost, with some oars that are sticking out of it.
You just hear her. You've got to be joking. And then I just really quickly thump you on the chest plate and point, Sir Belvedere.
Ah! We're saved! A means of transportation. Wonderful.
I hate this world. I hate it.
Oh, but there's so much to enjoy about it.
Enjoy that. Okay.
Yes, even I will understand. I am doing my best to make the most out of something that is quite dire. But we shall persevere, we shall carry on, and we shall use this boat.
Does it look like it can carry all 3 of us?
It looks like it possibly could carry at least 5 people.
Well,
and definitely
the
number that you currently have, with 2 very large people and 1 very small person.
So we count as 5 people.
We count as 5 people. We hit the elevator limit.
You both look like you would be able to row for hours. As I kind of pick my dress up and start walking that way.
It would be unchivalrous of me to not provide the power to row us to the opposite side.
Wonderful, because I wouldn't.
I
will begin to row.
So great.
What does Fig feel about water? Or at least going over open water like this?
She's all right with it. She's Don't ask her to swim through it. She doesn't. She like you put a cat in water, they're like, oh, fine, I'll do it, but I will hate every second of it, that kind of thing. But no, she's not like a graceful swimmer. She can tread water enough, but no, she's not a distance swimmer.
As you all pile
Captain of my rowing
into
team in university.
as you pile into this rowboat, Sir Belvedere, you take up the oars, and you begin to row, and you get a rhythm going. Meanwhile, Elindra, you're in the sort of the bottom portion of the boat, and just sort of like shivering this entire time. Your flame is completely doused, and your skin is become increasingly almost like ashy, like volcanic ash, and it is just from a third person like looking at you, it would look like you are made of burnt newspaper that had been rolled up and put into a fire. And like your skin almost looks like the residue of that flame, or that burning.
I don't feel so wonderful.
No, you don't look so hot. Pun
That's
intended.
not a good thing.
No?
No.
Oh, okay. Um,
Perhaps
let me
I may be
see.
of some service if I am allowed to use such abilities as a person of my persuasion might be able to provide.
Do you want me to take over the orders as you are doing your persuasion?
I was actually going to ask Sir Belvedere, give me just a straight athletics check.
Yes.
And if you wish to take over, Fig, you as well.
That's a 21.
Okay. You guys actually you get about a quarter of the way across the river at this point. Before Fig, you're going to take over. Got a 5. Whether it's just sort of the trying to like move to get out of Sir Belvedere's way as he switches sides and you get into the rowing seat. It takes you like a couple minutes before you're like able to sort of like figure out oars on a rowboat, which is not something you have
One
any
forward,
experience with.
one back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this out.
You guys start to move in a little bit of a circle, but then it sort of corrects, but then it corrects too much, and you start to go opposite direction. But Sir Belvedere, you're side by side with Elindra at this point.
Fantastic. As I do that, I would like to take the moment to cast Beacon of Hope. The spell bestows hope and vitality. Choose any number of creatures within range. That would be all of us within the 30 feet. For the duration, each of us has advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regains the maximum number of hit points possible from any healing.
Okay.
So basically, I am just I press my hand against the platinum dragon that is emblazoned on the chest plate and let it glow until there is kind of this wave of platinum ethereal pulse that just kind of like emanates and surrounds us, so that everyone can feel a bit better and not feel like they're going to die from the cold.
Okay. Sir Belvedere, you do that. Fig, Elindra, you both gain the benefits of that spell. Sir Belvedere, I need you to give me a perception check.
Okay.
12. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary.
Of course, why wouldn't it? I got a 12.
At this point, Fig, you feel like you've mastered it.
Yeah,
rowing.
she's not even looking. She's just
And you are just
you're
just hauling on these pieces of wood. What fine craftsmanship. Oh, they need to get these kinds of things in the Feywild. And you just
Oh my
keep
God.
and you finally at this point you're about halfway across the river.
Mhm.
Do you continue to row?
Yeah.
Give me another athletics check.
Damn it. 15 minus 1, 14.
14. Still better than the previous roll. So yeah, you are able to row the boat all the way across. It's pretty exhausting. You feel like you've had an incredible workout after. There's a lot of pain in your like shoulders, neck area, and your back as you've just rowed. Thankfully, it's very cold out, so you're not noticing anything in your muscles as of right now. But you're you're seeing your breath when you get to the other side. Um, as you pass over the waters of this river, what is everyone's passive perception?
15.
9.
And
Just a 9.
9 and 10 and then
passive
15.
perception. Oh gosh, what can I read? 11.
Okay. Elindra, you're the only person who spots this. As you are crossing over the river and you feel ever so slightly your vitality restored because of the spell, this almost like a blessing of sorts that Sir Belvedere has bestowed upon the two of you. As you are sort of letting that feeling of life return to you, I'll say that you are able to remove 1 point of exhaustion.
You're nervous? Okay.
And
Thank
you feel this sense of relief as whether it's the spell or it's the company of somebody like Joanna, who you even very briefly encountered, you got this sense that they were a being of power who was a mover in this world. And Sir Belvedere seems to be cut, although he is odd, cut from the same cloth. Fig is a comfort of another sort. They are a chaos of a completely different kind, but you're also a creature of chaos. And there is sort of a kinship there as well that you feel. But as you look off the side of the boat down to the waters of this river, you see behind you Mount Kegum. Or actually in front of you Mount Kegum, but back the way you came, sort of the snow has begun to clear and you see this massive, massive peak behind you. You can see very faintly through the clouds of this snowstorm that you just left. The mountain just seems to go up higher and higher. You can't even really see where it ends, but just keeps going. And as your eyes begin to come down from that massive height, you then stretch and you turn your attention towards the waters. And beneath the boat, even though the waters at times seem turbulent, you can very, very faintly make out there is a massive structure beneath the waters of this river.
She looks over the side of the boat.
It would appear to be, and at first you're like, no, Elindra, that's stupid. How couldn't possibly, that can't be. Could we be though? Could this be where we are? You've never seen a dwarven city ship. You've always wondered what they looked like. And it would appear that beneath the surface of this river, sunken into the waters, is what remains of an ancient dwarven city ship. Sunk just enough so that it's not hampering anyone traveling on the water itself, but anybody who's trying to get from one side to the other or trying to traverse this river in anything bigger than a rowboat is not going to be able to do it with any degree of safety. because of how big this thing is and how much it is displaced.
Would
And
I
as
know
you-
where we are then?
And as you see this in the waters below, your eyes then stretch upward to the city itself. And you remember in the teachings that your mother would instruct you, or your mother would instruct you in. And some of the stories that your grandfather would tell you was the city of Thartiod, which was the last land-established city of the dwarves before they departed for the oceans.
I think I know where we are.
Oh,
We're in Thartiod.
good. Where is that?
Well,
We're on the river.
an abandoned city, I think.
No, but that city ahead looks quite civilized from what I can see. There is smoke coming out of chimneys and such, and
Are there smoke? Is there smoke coming out of chimneys?
There is not. What Sir Belvedere is referring to is perhaps the snow that is stuck on some of the chimneys that is blowing, and it looks almost kind of like a misty effect, like the wind is sort of taking up and like picking up the light snow and sort of like twisting it into the air.
my
It almost
eyes
looks-
don't deceive me. That seems to be. Nope, I was mistaken. Or was I? Hang on.
on a 9. Yeah, you could be very well mistaken.
It could be either way. Although it does seem like there is. You know what? I'm going to take your judgment for it.
If we are where I think we are, and I think we are here because if you look over the boat, and she points to the bottom of the water, where you see a giant city.
No. How'd that get there?
Well,
When's it-
they probably sunk it.
Who would they be?
Why?
Well, the dwarves. They left. They don't live here anymore. They built massive big city ships and off they went.
Going to say I've heard of many different types of dwarves. Sea dwarves have yet to come up in my studies, as it were. But one can learn almost anything any day, can they?
Are sea dwarfs at sea or under the sea? 'Cause
Well,
it-
one can suppose that if a sea elf is an elf that primarily thrives underwater, then a sea dwarf may be of the same nature, but I have met neither, so I cannot confirm.
The stories that I've read, well, they say that they're just regular dwarves. They got run out by humans, as most things do.
So you're saying the city was sunk? Oh, a bit of alliteration there. I didn't even realize.
Oh, not whimsical. That is macabre.
I don't know if it was sunk on purpose. It's on a ship.
Ah, so the ship was sunk.
The ship was sunk.
So the city upon
Maybe
the sea
it
was
was an
sunk.
extra one. No, there are
It was-
more.
There was
there-
a city on a ship that was sunk into this water.
There are a few cities on ships out somewhere in the sea.
You
Above
saying that
us.
sea cities out on the sea that are cities on ships?
I
Yes.
see.
No. Cities
I
are on the sea.
Oh, you see.
Apparently not today.
Please don't let this bit end. At
So
this
you're
point,
not what?
at this point, there as you guys are having this dialogue about city ships down by the
Where
Sally
sells seashells.
Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. As you are having this conversation, and Elindra is sharing bits and pieces of the dwarven history that she knows, there's as the bottom of the boat makes contact with the opposite shore
Oh,
and sort of grinds up, and you push up onto the ground. And the ice.
Lanjo,
we have
say that
arrived.
when you're at sea. I read that.
I will step out and help to escort my friends now onto land safely.
Elindra is very much of the I don't need help.
Oh,
You
Fig
can help.
takes it with great relish as she steps off the boat.
And I just want to clarify,
Elindra
this is
falls.
me just doing a simple gesture of friendly, nothing more, nothing less. There's nothing to look into in any gesture.
I know you are in love with me, but I can't accept.
I shall nip that in the bud quite quickly.
Pickle the unrequited.
Anyway,
Oh,
the
I
town. There it is. Where are we again? Curious.
Yes, where you guys find yourself as you've pushed up onto the land, you find yourself in what remains very rundown dockyard, almost a shipyard even, or what appears to be. Neither of you, well, Sir Belvedere might, as their time spent in Ashcaleen, but you recall sort of the way the North Docks were converted from being for naval or sea vessels, seagoing vessels, into what they were trying to do right before all of the happenings where there was a coup and the Queen taking power while King Gleef went off to the north to fight the elves. But what you remember about the North Docks is how it was converted into making sky skiffs or sky ships. And this actually looks fairly similar because it's like not in that they were making any sky vessels, but it was just how it is constructed. This is clearly a place where large vessels were made. And as you look out, you can see further deeper into town, it is all dwarven architecture. And you can see homes, you can see smithies, you can see some dwarven temples to their gods, all of which are abandoned. There even appears to be a rundown library of sorts.
Hello!
It's
Hello!
abandoned.
You hear this echo.
That was me. An echo. Seems that we are alone.
Yep. All right. Yep. And Elindra just picks up her dress. Like, yes, I just said that.
One can never tell if there may be squatters about who perhaps could be looking to be getting themselves away from the cold as well. You say that this town is abandoned. Well, we have made our presence known. If
Wonderful.
anyone should hear us.
We've made our presence known and completely given up any surprise that we may have had. There goes our advantage.
I side with her on that.
I may be able to help us recover said advantage, and I will cast Detect Evil and Good.
That doesn't help against regular things. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh,
Evil and good. So that is anything that is celestial or infernal.
An aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of this.
Okay.
Two of your companions just
I know we all light up.
Now, you see me cast, but you don't realize what I'm not.
Yeah, we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Sir Belvedere, you make this utterance about being able to help with this thing, and you cast this spell. As you're looking at it's like you're standing in front of Elindra and Fig, and you're looking out on the town. No, nothing there. Nothing there at all. Oh, that's a relief. And you turn back around and it's like this blinding light of different shades and colors suddenly standing in front of you. You see Fig illuminated.
Fig, Elindra, behind me! There's evil afoot!
Bright golden green. And you see Elindra in this orange, golden, and black, smoky, faint at this moment. But you see both of them very clearly illuminated by this spell.
Does that, is the color coding something someone who cast the spell kind of understood to them in terms of what means what?
Yes, you absolutely
Okay.
do.
And I just pause for a moment as I sheath my sword back and put my magnetically sealed shield just kind of like back to me. Doesn't even like question how that works. He just does it. And just things are starting to add up a bit more about you two. However,
Is that so?
I still shall remain to my oath, making sure you are safe. For you have caused me no harm, therefore I cannot cause you any.
Are you worried about us causing you harm?
I shall remain vigilant against any odds that may come against me, should that come to pass, but from the small amount of time that I have come to know you so far, I feel no threat. And I mean that only in the most polite of manners.
You are Sir Unprompted. That's what I
Take
call
that
you.
as a compliment.
I will call you that.
Belvedere the benevolent. Unless I already used that one.
You did?
Blast.
That
Well,
must be what you're called.
I'd find one eventually that shall stick, but I must earn it.
As you all are sort of standing around Sir Belvedere, you've seen these colors.
Mm-hmm.
How long does the spell last?
It lasts up to 10 minutes, but I can drop it should I want to.
Okay.
So I kind
unless-
of like desaturate to tune it out to be like,
Yeah, it's not
thinking about it like,
It's like
okay,
adjusting
I know who
the settings
you
on your
are.
TV. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
too
Ooh,
vivid.
factory settings, way
Yeah.
too vibrant. Let's
Yeah.
turn that down.
And you and it's all the colors just seem to dim,
Yeah.
not go away entirely. There is still that faint glow that you
Need to
sort
be
of
able to
alert
see past them.
Yeah.
Just in case.
You know what I
But-
think is like, when you're playing a video game and it says turn it down until you barely see the
Right,
logo.
exactly.
Exactly.
Make sure you can only
Exactly.
just barely see the logo before you continue.
Like, no Resident Evil, I'm putting the light up.
Yeah. So you do that.
Mhm.
Again, you take a quick glance around the city.
So I'm just kind of like keeping everyone close as we kind of like slowly walk and scope.
Okay. As you are walking and scoping, you do see what looks to be an inn of some kind, a tavern maybe. Again, the snow is still falling around you, but right now it's like this sort of very pleasant Christmas Carol style falling snow that you might go caroling in. Not you, Sir Belvedere. I'm just giving an example.
Oh,
There's
but
no
I
caroling.
do reward the small ones who would come by during the winter solstice season.
But yeah, it's sort of this light, fluffy snow, but it is definitely accumulating on the ground. And you see what looks to be this inn tavern of some kind, possibly a watering hole of some kind of dwarven. You see the sign is sort of just cracked in the center, which is funny because it is the Inn of the Cracked Flagon.
Kind of like just wipe the window off to look through.
It's
Tries
abandoned
to
as I go and open the door.
Yeah.
One
As
can
you-
never be too
You
sure.
still look through the window. You still look through the
Yes.
window. Elindra, you go to the door and you open it up. And as Elindra opens the door, the outside light sort of illuminates the interior for you, Sir Belvedere. Fig, do you also enter with?
As soon as Elindra opens the door, Fig goes right in. That's
Oh,
this is
okay.
her stomping
Yeah.
ground of Fig.
Yeah. You look in, and you see what looks to be a perfectly preserved dwarven inn. Things are definitely shorter in scale. They do still have taller ceilings because they're they like
still 7-1.
Yeah.
Just a
But,
little bit.
but it is perfectly preserved. It does not look like it has fully been reclaimed by the nature. Speaking of which, yes, there is snow around you, but it does look like this city has slowly, over time, it has been reclaimed by not only the elements, but from the flora and fauna around it, as it has been completely devoid of, humanoid life for many years.
So you
And
see like frozen vines like around.
yes. Frozen vines, trees, tall grass in the streets. What used to be perhaps some kind of cobblestone. Now you can see this just tall grass everywhere. Kind of like the movie I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Very much like a New York City reclaimed. And as you enter the inn, you look around and you see there is a bar. There are still the taps for some kinds of ale. There are bottles of some kind of dwarven liquors on the walls behind. There is what looks to be some kind of performance space. And there is, of course, a very hearty, welcoming dwarven hearth that at this moment is completely devoid of any kind of nice fire. But right next to it, a very large pile of logs that one could take and then start a fire with. You do see that there is at the very behind the bar, there is off to the left a exit or another entrance that goes into the back of the inn, where you would assume perhaps foodstuffs were made and then served out into the front. This seems to be a very standard looking inn. And you do see stairs that go up into another level.
It is a shame that this establishment has been abandoned for so long. It seems like it was quite a popular place.
I would like to have danced here. It would have been nice. Well, let's warm this place up. Who knows how to make fire? And she looks over
I
to
can do
Elindra.
that. If someone puts the logs in the hearth.
Already grabbing logs and like putting kindling in there and just spreading it way ahead of you. Have to have a good kindle, of course, beforehand. Takes out like tinderbox and stuff.
No. And then just bonfire.
Yeah, you put the
Always that, of course,
logs
as well.
down into the hearth where they go, and Sir Belvedere, you barely have a second to sort of dodge out of the way before suddenly in front of you, barely missing you, is this roaring inferno, just immediately illuminating with a nice golden orange glow the entire space, and immediately warmth radiates from this dwarven hearth. And in the space of about 5 minutes, there is some modicum of perhaps this inn's former glory restored. Many years have obviously gone by since any living person has graced or has crossed the threshold of this inn. But the cracked flagon is seeing new life in this moment as the fire quickly elevates the temperature to a much more livable one. And on that note, we will take a short break. Welcome back, everyone. So, we find our three... Is it early? Is it too early to call you guys heroes? Yeah, I think so.
We haven't done anything heroic.
Nothing heroic. You've braved a snowstorm, which is pretty much what everyone in the Midwest has done.
Yeah.
So over the last month. So, you find yourself in an old dwarven inn. In the middle, based off of Elindra's description of the history of the area, the possible history of the area. This is the ancient city of Thartiod, the last land-established city of the dwarves before they departed for the high seas. From what you've gathered and what you've seen as you've made your way onto the land and into the city, this was where they built the dwarven city ships. You find yourselves in this inn, a fresh fire crackling. It's at this moment, Fig, that the first pangs of hunger begin to take you. You were at first buoyed by Sir Belvedere's, like, his spell that he used to boister you both. But at this point, you want some food. You are famished.
Is anybody hungry, or is it just me? Yes, could eat. Yeah.
Are we in
Yeah.
need of food? Because I can help with that if for some reason we find the food here is not fresh or salvageable.
The substance of what you gave her.
And it is no. I can create something that will be much more
Palatable.
palatable. Yes.
There
Digestible.
may not be food here.
I will.
There's alcohol.
What
I would
is
like
the
to search
shop
the
like?
pantry
Yeah.
just
Okay.
in case.
All right, give me so you see the door that goes into the back past the bar. You do notice the liqueurs that are on the shelves behind the bar. They range from everything from like some, very like a thick syrupy cordial to what looks to be some kind of dwarvish whiskey.
Ooh.
But they run the gamut, all different size, different colored glasses, finest dwarven glass blowing craftsmanship put into these bottles. For whatever reason, whether they were in a hurry as they were departing, these were left behind. You do find your... Oh, go ahead, Fig.
Yeah, Fig like basically leaps over the tavern bar to go starts plucking off of those.
Okay. You immediately start to grab some of these bottles. Sir Belvedere, you see the door that goes into the what you would believe to be the kitchen area, perhaps the larder, and you come in. You do see, yeah, it looks to be a fully not stocked kitchen, but it looks like all of the utensils that you would need for cooking any kind of meal are still there. And you also see
any perishables or non-perishables, as it were.
not in immediate view. You do see a what looks to be some kind of I'm trying. Wow, my words have escaped me in this moment. An entryway to a basement, but it's like
A
cellar
cellar?
door. Thank you. You spy at the very rearmost portion of this kitchen a cellar door that you believe would go down into the basement of this tavern.
Okay. I will first check if it's locked or anything, and just
It is not locked.
see if carefully with my sword I shall just stand and try to lift open the latch to make sure I'm out of the way.
There is a momentary struggle with the latch as it is through years of
Rusted.
Yeah, it is rusted. It has not been opened in many, many years. But you're able, with your strength and your sword, you're able to manipulate it a little bit, and then it
there we
pops
are.
free.
And is there any kind of like source of something that if so I don't have to use any magical means of my own, if there is a means of like a torch or some sort
Yes.
of candle?
There
is
are, as you
lightable?
descend, looks to be every like 5 or maybe 5 to 10 steps. There seems to be a torch on the wall.
Okay. I will quickly grab one and or at least something that is go to the hearth to light it so that I can make my way down and kind of proceed to light as I go down the hall.
Okay. As you descend into this cellar, immediately as you're lighting, everything becomes, much easier to see for you. And you see giant barrels. From the smell, it smells like beer. And other, perhaps spicier, aged alcohols. And it's sort of like this a very heady aroma that you're experiencing. As you look to the back portion of this cellar, you do see that there is another door that has a little bit of a viewport on it that you can see on the other side. It looks to be some very old meats that have just been at this point, given the age, looks to be some kind of jerky. Not necessarily the fine cuts of meat that they maybe once were, but given that they've been stored in a very cool environment, it looks to be like they're fairly well preserved. You're not entirely sure. But, with a little application of heat and, acids, bases, get, all the spices together, you might be able to cook something up.
All right. And I will gather what I know is the necessary means of being able to make this food appetizing. And also just, if I can, I like any kind of extra flavors I may see, just for the sake of, just in case people have certain tastes.
I mean, you see several different smaller barrels of different spices that are stored. Again, this is a very cool environment. Like, they put food down here for a reason, because they knew that it was going to
not forget seasoning,
be preserved. You get the necessary ingredients together. The kind of meat that you got, it looks to be some kind of beef that has been aged.
Is there anything more unsettling than looks to be some kind of beef?
You're not entirely sure what animal it belongs to, because you
just
don't know.
From a DM perspective of, maybe it's beef,
maybe it's dolphin. We don't know. So you have these various and sundry meats that you've collected from this cellar, along with the spices. You do still notice the barrels of beer and the different kinds of cordials, brandies. You do see that several of them have like a dwarven seal that indicate different ages on them.
When I bring the ingredients back up to the kitchen, I'll go back down and just grab like a cask of each, or of one of the ale, and then one of the more harder stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, water.
You find there is an old dwarven, or not old, but like an aged cask that looks to be, you smell beer, but it definitely looks like it was made inside or stored within a whiskey cask of some kind. And this very heady, almost like a caramel scent to it. As you like tuck it under one arm, you do grab one of the more heavily aged liqueurs, and as you look at it, you realize that on the top of the cask there is a emblem that is emblazoned on the top of it, and it is the emblem of a moon. And you realize you have never had this, but given where the Tower of Durestir once stood and its proximity to across the street and down the ways, a couple blocks, there was a monastery that belonged to the nuns of Selûne. And you remember, this was the mark. This was the mark of Selûne. And you immediately know that this is a blessed cask of Selûne plum brandy.
Immediately, we'll just carefully grab it and bring it upstairs as well, knowing its sacramental applications. I have a question for you. Do you think,
occasionally,
that should I decide to use purify food and drink on these select pieces that I've gotten, that will freshen them up a bit more to make it more palatable?
I'll say sure. Yeah, I mean, given you're going through the process of cooking, like you're already, because in many ways the process of cooking is kind of purifying for food. But once you like apply a certain amount of heat to something. But this will actually make it not only safe to eat, but it will actually help make it taste good.
Yeah, I only want what's best for my new compatriots, being what the harsh, severe weather they've been through. So I will do that as the last touch of preparing the food for the individuals. 2 plates, mind you, because I'm fine.
Give me. You can choose either a performance check or a history check.
My history is so much better, so I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
You sure you're fine?
It's a 15.
It's a 15.
I survive off rations, my dear.
Do you? I'd like to see you eat some.
As you
Had some earlier.
begin to just, whether it's because the everything is shorter in a dwarven kitchen, it does take you a little bit of a there's a little bit of getting back into the sort of the swing of things in this sort of confined space, given that you're 7 foot whatever the heck, and you begin to use these smaller utensils, and it's like trying to cook with chopsticks almost, because they're much smaller utensils than are your hands.
I'm using a skillet as a
spatula.
Yeah, as a spatula.
As you begin to toss in ingredients and spices together, though, Fig and Elindra, some very pleasant aromas begin to emanate from the kitchen area, and they're not necessarily any particular scent that would take you back to a certain place or time, but it is comforting knowing that edible food, that's something that might just be able to happen in the next couple of minutes, which is very encouraging for Elindra, because you were feeling very faint and you are still kind of anxious given the sort of the frightening, jarring moment that you just experienced.
Am I keeping it together well?
Well, as you are sitting in the eating area of the inn, you see Fig has leapt over the bar and is immediately like palming alcohol. And you see they're just like fishing around for like all kinds of like tankards, and they have like this giant tankard pint, and they begin to just like, are you making drinks right now, Fig?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Just, using the best stuff. So she's going for the brownest, darkest over. Yes.
Yeah, it's like Tom Cruise in Cocktail up here.
Top
it's like
shelf, baby.
And you're just like, you're just shaking everything up. You got like all these things. You're just stirring, and then you're like straining. It's like Grant from College. I was gonna say College Humor. Dropout, in that show that they do where they make like confessions about each other, and he's the bartender. You're just making. Is there any particular kind of beverage that you're making for yourself or for Elindra?
No, it's just brown and browner. That's really it.
So you're just like, you're putting it all together. Give me a performance check just for the hell of it. Let's see how good you are. Let's see how your mixology skills are.
They're pouring drinks into one thing. I'm like delicately putting, garnishes on each tray and roasting potatoes and putting them all in.
Yeah, 21 in total.
21. You don't know what the hell kind of drink you are making, but
It looks
whatever
cool.
smells good. Whatever smells good has got to taste good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just begin to you're just going at it. And finally once you've figured, I've got 2 nice hearty drinks here. Yeah, ooh, that's spicy. Oh, that's spicier. And you bring it back to Elindra, and you sort of like,
Yeah. Elindra, I made you something. You're flammable. Yes.
I may be.
Excellent. So with this, fire makes this so much better. Go ahead and she like pushes this, yeah, it's like a stein full of just swirling thick black liquor towards you.
One mustn't drink on an empty stomach. I come through with 3 plates of the meal I prepared.
You've managed to find Sir Belvedere. You've managed to
Yeah,
find
absolutely.
the largest dwarven apron, which
I
is
took a
still
curtain basically
really
from it
tiny
and just
on you,
It's
yes.
a loincloth.
and you're just like you're wearing it, and you're still wearing your helmet.
Yeah, of course. Don't make it
Before I
weird.
take the drink from Fig, I say, no strings, of course.
Never.
Then I'll take a sip of it.
As you take this sip, Sir Belvedere has placed 2 very. It looks to be some kind. Still iffy on what kind of meat it is, but it is a very nicely cooked, spiced meat. There's some gravy that he's put over it.
Nice au jus.
And it basically is the equivalent of some kind of pot roast almost. Some kind of roast and with some gravy on top, very hearty. And it looks, even though they were not working together at all, seems to pair pretty well with the drinks that Fig has made.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A toast to survival.
Yes.
Do you drink
and
it?
Be warm. Warm is good.
Does
you
the
just see him,
liquid
like,
go in?
into the lid? He just
I would like to make a perception check.
sure.
Please.
Does it leak out anywhere?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It just goes.
It just goes in, and you just kind of like it just goes in. He's still like figuring out like, oh, got it. Nope. That
I
is
have a
good.
theory. And that
That is
my
good.
theory is that Sir Belvedere is a construct. Is a warforged of some sort.
That can be something that Jess can have a theory about.
I do not know enough about, like, Elindra is not sure. You didn't tell us what you were.
No.
Right? No.
And
so
what's
this is
more-
just me thinking.
in terms of
I'm like, did I just screw it up?
No. In terms of what anybody in this world might know is that you have no idea what a construct is.
No. But Elindra's like, I don't know if there's anything in there.
You basically you heard the liquid like pour as if it was going into, and then no kind of like dribble or anything or empty hollow noise. It
just going off of what she saw.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just saying
Right?
this is what Elindra goes, and now he's kind of like he cuts himself a piece of meat, and he just kind of goes, "Oh, this is going to be an issue."
How's it going to come out? Is what I'm wondering.
So Belvedere, can you just
This is Michael laughing.
shake really hard?
And he just kind of like, this may be something I have to figure out in private, to be perfectly honest. I'm not quite comfortable.
Are you not hungry? Or
Oh, I'm
why don't you eat in front of us?
famished.
It's fine. Eat in front of us. We don't judge. I've eaten far worse than this, and it looks good, and so I will eat. Thank you.
I take a nice big like bite of whatever you made for us, but I do say I will judge. I'm not going to lie to you.
It is not the finest foodstuffs you've ever consumed. Sorry. It is not the finest foodstuffs that you've ever consumed. But in this particular moment, given everything that you all have gone through, any port in a storm, and you do feel like that no matter how good the food might be, just knowing that somebody put a lot of love and attention into the making of it is almost sustenance in and of itself. It isn't, but it almost is. Right now, the most diverting thing right now is trying to watch, as you're eating and drinking, Sir Belvedere trying to figure out how to eat and drink and still not taking off his helmet.
I have an idea.
Mm.
I'm gonna go and find a couple of forks and like tie them together or something, like a couple knives and then like the fork at the end so that he could like shove it through.
So what you're saying, if I may, you would like to, through my visual piece
Is there no mouthpiece?
No, it's
Oh, it's just that. So yeah, it's close enough.
okay.
That doesn't shift up at all. That's
Just shove it down through there and yeah, you'll be fine.
Well, you see, the thing is, while I was preparing the meal, I was tipping little pieces in and out there, and I didn't want to come across as rude, so I ate what I could while in the kitchen while preparing this food.
You didn't want to break bread.
Are you lying?
I don't.
Seems
believe
rather
you.
rude.
Why would you not break bread with us?
It is not one. It's not many a time I have to.
Have you poisoned us?
No, I'm as
I've already
confused.
eaten it.
I'm as confused as you are, to be perfectly frank about this whole ordeal. I found myself in snow, and I cannot take this armor off, and I have not questioned it since because I knew I had duty to go by. But now I am starting to worry. I am worried. This is me worrying. I am in a state of worry. I am currently worrying. Someone stop me, please, from worrying.
Worry not. And then then Fade or Fig Faye just grabs him by the shoulders and like shakes him enough. And then she leans forward. She like just tries to shake him again. If she hears like the liquid sloshing, she like shakes him.
No, you don't hear any sloshing or anything.
Answer my 2 questions.
Yes, you
Are
only
you
have
hungry?
2 because I have certainly more.
Are you hungry?
Okay, admittedly, no, and that is what is disturbing me a bit more.
2.
I have not been hungry
You-
since the ceremony of which I was knighted.
So you didn't eat.
No, there was a meal beforehand, and then I doffed on my ceremonial heavy plate, and so I knelt down for my knighting. I was given the title of Sir Belvedere, and then everything went to hell, and I woke up in the snow.
What do you?
So
When were
many-
you knighted?
I was. What does Sir Belvedere think the day is?
You would think that it is the year 664.
And I basically give you the date of when when Ashcaleen fell.
Actually, no, this would be
When the tower fell, right?
tower disappeared.
When the tower disappeared. Yeah. I was
And
in.
I know that, right? I know that information.
Yeah, you do know, because Lady Brigida definitely told you, especially because you were making your inquiries, and that's when you like first encountered Lady Brigida, and she told you about everything that has happened or had happened in Ashcaleen within the last 3 years. And the Tower of Durestir is this one moment that has really shook the city. because the Tower of Durestir is the temple of the Platinum Dragon.
And as I stood proudly at Durestir, ready to be given my title to move forward as a knight in the Order of the Platinum Dragon, I knelt down before the ceremonial blade that was to be rested upon each shoulder. And after Sir Belvedere, there was a calamitous noise, shaking and violent feeling of energy all throughout, and I awoke in the cold, cold snow where you found me. It has been a most terrible day.
It's a horrible day, yes. A very horrible day.
I have been cursed by some magical means to be entombed in this armor without taste, without sensation of drink, or the very air I breathe does not even feel that of how my lungs used to be filled. I can see like I used to, and I can hear as much and speak to you as though I were before this armor became upon me, but now I feel I have been bespoken with some curse, for which I cannot understand why, for I have done nothing but good to my fellow kin and to others.
There was definitely years between those times.
2 years.
Okay. Oh, what a horrible day for you.
It certainly has been. I can't imagine what has happened to all those others who were in the tower with me earlier.
Well, nothing good, I think.
One
It's the most sus way to reply to something, as Elindra's sitting there, pushing food around her plate, don't you worry about it, darling.
But I knew that as I was honor bound by my duty, having taken my oath only moments before the ceremony beginning, it was one that I must follow through, as I had done my entire life beforehand. But I have yet to truly resonate the calamitous nature of the events that I have been through today. And what...
Today is a very strong sense of time for you. Today might have been 2 years ago, in fact.
I'm not one for riddles.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. It's very odd how you're here. Where did the 2 years go? That's all I wonder.
How... You confuse me. I don't quite understand where this amount... Are you speaking of a different calendar, or perhaps of an event that sounded similar? Because...
Well, there was definitely definitely the same event. The Tower of Durestir disappearing into nothing. Well,
I'm sorry,
to another plane.
What? Disappearing?
Yes.
How do you know of the tower being gone? We've only just met.
What happened 2 years ago?
I will do an insight check if I may. Just because
I'm just awkwardly
they were
drinking.
messing with me before. It's a 19, so...
I am
19.
not even rolling deception.
Elindra seems to be, even though they are sort of they're drinking, it almost seems like they're a little bit sad that they have to be the one to sort of share this information with you. But they seem to be deadly honest right now.
He turns to Fig. Are you aware of this strange occurrence as well?
Would Fig know?
In the space of, so
Ooh.
every year, the circus would come to Ashcaleen. And yes, you wouldn't necessarily go out and travel into the Starriness District, but the fact that the Tower of Durestir, the temple devoted to the worship of the god Bahamut, the platinum dragon of justice and goodness, has mysteriously vanished with no explanation, that would definitely be news that you would take back to the Ringmaster and would share. And in the 2 years since its disappearance, things have gotten weirder and weirder in the city of Ashcaleen. Nothing that really was an obstacle for the circus or your duties as the second ringmaster. But definitely with the absence of Bahamut's anchor in the city of Ashcaleen, things have definitely gotten harder with people, darker, more anxious.
The answer to your question is yes. So Belvedere. It was a while ago. It wasn't from your perspective. It was.
So am I to believe that in the time of me seeing this event unfold and then awaking in the snow only so many hours ago, entire years have passed?
So
Sir
it
Belvedere,
would
give me
seem-
a history check.
Heck of a time to get an 18.
On an 18, as you say this out loud, do you expect me to believe that entire years have passed? I've been gone for years, and in the back of your mind, suddenly this monologue begins to just go, and it's suddenly like multiple conversations start to happen in your head. And some of them have different voices than the one that you currently use. And one of them is reciting the Oath of Devotion Paladin's creed. Another seems to be the echoing voice of the patron who was delivering the title to you and knighting you as Sir Belvedere, the ellipsis. And then there's another voice. Deep. Eternal. Ageless. Words can't necessarily be heard, but there's a vibration and an echo that sort of fills your ears. And you can't help but feel sort of this odd comfort coming from, but it's not, you can't tell what they're saying, but it's almost like they're speaking in tune with the voice that is currently knighting you. And in this flicker of memory, you feel the ground begin to tremor beneath your knees and your armor vibrate. And your eyes open momentarily. You see the blade on your left shoulder. You see the patron standing in front of you, speaking the words. Silhouetted behind them, you see... No, that statue's always been there. Of Bahamut, wings outspread. This massive, massive statue. Did it move? No, it's a statue. It's not moving. You feel like you see it adjust itself ever so slightly, like the wings pull back and tuck themselves behind. And then suddenly there is a green flash. And you suddenly find yourself not in Ashcaleen, not in Durestir, not in the tower. In fact, you see the tower floating in space in front of you. Pieces of it breaking off. You see the grounds of the immediate grounds right outside the tower, cut off in odd configurations and shapes. And you feel weightless. And you look around you, and there is stars and constellations and heavenly bodies, massive floating mountains. You see other structures. Some symbols you recognize belonging to other gods. These other structures appear to be some kind older temples, perhaps. You are floating in this space, and time just seems to stretch on. And oddly enough, there is no fear. There is no horror. You feel like you are suspended. Like your computer has gone into hibernate mode or sleep mode. And you're waiting to be awakened. In fact, after this very brief moment, you suddenly feel this rush, and you see this silvery light approaching you. And then it consumes you, and the next feeling you have is this icy sting. And then suddenly, Sir Belvedere, you find yourself once again sitting across from Elindra and across from Fig. And you, whether it's Elindra's questions or the alcohols that you can't really drink, but the food everything that has happened, all of these rushes, and you feel almost like an adrenaline.
I need to lie down. I need to find a place to lie down.
Yes. It seems like that there would be rooms upstairs that we could take and look for and see.
I will find my way. And he just walks straight upstairs and goes into the first empty room that he sees.
You do find there looks to be at least six rooms in this inn. And you find the first one at the top of the stairs to your right, and you enter it, you close the door. The rooms have all been reclaimed by nature in a way that actually Fig would find very endearing and hospitable and warm. And as the warmth of the fire sort of like rises in throughout the building, it's almost as if the weather outside is forgotten. And whether it's just Fig's natural ambiance, I guess, but there is almost a sense of spring inside this tavern. And there is a warm glow, which is nice for Sir Belvedere as it provides a very restful space. Does Sir Belvedere rest?
He sits at the edge of the cot, and he just looks at his wrist. And for the remainder of however long, as he's kind of put a chair up against the door so that it can't really be opened, he will just sit and hold onto his wrist and try continuously to take the gauntlet off. And
Doesn't
just
budge.
get more defeated each and every time nothing happens. But he doesn't stop.
Big knocks on the door. Sir Belvedere, I don't mean to bother you if you're sleeping.
No response.
Well, you probably are praying right now. It seems you have something to pray to. So, I just wanted to say thank you for today, and it's been nice meeting you. And she goes back downstairs.
At this point, dinner is done. Food has been eaten. There's still a ton of alcohol. As one of the members of your small contingent is not drinking. Yes. Elindra, you have finished your food. It has filled you. And even in your very weakened state, you still take comfort from the fact that at this point, your traveling companions, they haven't murdered you. And on top of that, they do seem to be intent on why would they go to all these lengths to make you comfortable and feed you and give you drink just to turn around and no, they seem to be good eggs. Maybe.
I mean, that remains to be seen. Sometimes you just want to fatten someone up.
But given Sir Belvedere's propensity for not eating, fattening anyone up would seem to not do much of any good. Fig, on the other hand, who knows?
She feels really bad about that. She feels like she could have been a little more gentle breaking that news, but also is not in the headspace to have been more gentle.
Unless either of you retire to any of the other rooms, you do find yourselves in the front of the tavern, by the at a table by the roaring fire, with a whole table of finished food and some of the different beverages. Oh, Sir Belvedere, did you bring out the moon cask?
He would have kept that on his side with him. He kind of just basically like attached it to his utility belt, as it were, because he knows it's for sacramental purposes.
Mm-hmm.
It is not to be consumed lightly.
Dang it.
Yeah, it would have been gone in the morning. Elindra will drink for a little bit before going to sleep or retiring.
How much sleep do you require? You seem a little, if you don't mind my saying, worse for wear. Will you get brighter when you rest?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, much brighter.
That's amazing. I feel it would reflect in your eyes. It's really neat. Are you
I
staying
think I
here?
like you.
Me?
Yes.
What's not to like?
I wasn't sure, but I think I do.
That's good. You should follow your instinct. I know that's what you have to follow. You followed me down the mountain, so you do like me. I like you. It's very nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is
I
giving
am-
like very much like Kate Bishop Yelena Romanov vibes.
I think
Kate
I like
Bishop,
it.
would you like some macaroni?
Only one fork? Yeah.
Kate, this is not civilized.
While the vision cries upstairs.
Right? Are you? Is that? Might I ask a question?
Sure. Ask away.
Why are you here?
I am proving something.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm proving something. And I am succeeding.
what are you proving?
Myself. What else is there? Me. I'm proving. I am proving myself.
Oh, my mistake. How did you get here? Is more what I meant.
Oh, I was sent here. I was sent.
By
Someone?
for the
What else
reason
was in me
of.
here?
I was just wondering, you were in the city, which means you did see what was happening, I'm assuming, because the circus was still there.
Yes, of course. We travel everywhere to perform.
Do I get the idea that maybe she doesn't know what happened to the city?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. I gotta roll everything with disadvantage. So 3. No clue, I'm tired.
Yeah, you're exhausted, but you're not entirely. It's one of those things where you're exhausted and you're starting to like slowly get a little bit irritated because Fig, you're not entirely sure if Fig is being intentionally obtuse with their responses, or like how they seem to be kind of evading giving details about how they arrived.
I feel you see her just go. Were you there when the city started to fall?
DM. Was Fig there?
Yeah.
In that instance, right there. I wasn't sure if it was that point or. Okay.
Yes. No, you watched a good chunk of the fall of Ashcaleen before the ringmaster sent you away.
So how did you escape?
I didn't escape. We did.
Just looks confused.
Is there something you are trying to ask about the city? I didn't do this. If that's what you're referring to, no?
I did not say that you did that.
Okay.
Just look away at that. Of course you didn't do that. How would you do that?
I wouldn't. I like cities. You know why? Because I can perform in them. Get paid. I get to stay for free. Like tonight, actually, this actually does keep my record that going to any taverns, inns, brothels, whatever you want to call them. I don't pay.
No.
I don't pay.
Do you perform and that's how you stay for free?
Absolutely. But I love it, so it's great. I would have loved for you to see have seen one of my shows.
I
would have
saw.
been-
I saw you. I saw you perform quite wonderfully.
When?
At the circus.
And just as soon as Elindra says like circus, that like pain of it, like a memory just Fig just kind of tucks it back. It's a great memory. Did you enjoy our show? Yes.
Was one of the best shows I'd ever seen.
That warms my heart. Thank you.
Elindra, as you say that, and Fig, you take the compliment. You see Elindra have like this almost far off look. And suddenly, Elindra, you feel this cascade of memories. Sitting in the big top of the Circus of the Twilight. And you feel the sound, or you feel the ambiance around you and the crowd and the music as the Twilight Serenade is literally playing and serenading everyone, as you remember Kitty transforming into the saber-toothed cat and jumping through this ring of fire at the behest of the ringmaster. And you remember Kalisa and the joy that they showed at seeing Kitty perform. You remember Fig being there as they were literally coaching an owlbear around the ring. You remember an interaction that Fig had with the slightly fey-touched gentleman in the tall cap with the very flamboyant coat.
She clocked him as Faye right away, remember?
Yes. In that sort of memory, you realize that Fig definitely knows who the ringmaster is.
Oh yeah.
You take that memory, and I'll say that given everything that has happened with Sir Belvedere casting the spell, rejuvenating you, the food, the drink, the warm memories, especially the memories of Kalisa and Kitty, I'll say you get 1 point of exhaustion removed.
Makes me very nervous that you keep giving me these back. You know, I think I might retire.
I think I'll be following you presently as well. Sleep well.
You as well. And
Don't set your bed on fire.
I make no promises, but I boop one of your horns, which is really hard for me to do because I have to like stretch, but I do it.
Hobie!
Elindra would like to pray though herself when she goes into a room.
Okay. As you make your way up the stairs, you hear the faintest clatter. They're not making tons of noise, but you hear the faintest sound of armor shuffling in the room that you hear off to the right. Does that influence your room choice at all?
Immediately go off to the right, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you mean the left or the right?
Wherever the noise is.
You immediately go the opposite direction.
No, I go to the noise.
Okay, so you hear Sir Belvedere shuffling in one of the
Oh,
rooms.
Sir Belvedere is the noise.
Yes.
Trying to like
The farthest away that I can be.
Got it. That's what I was asking. Okay, so you immediately go all the way down and you go to the farthest room on the left. as far away from where Sir Belvedere is staying. And you find a very well-furnished tavern space. The blankets and pillows are somewhat tattered at this point, as they've been exposed to the elements, but the windows have definitely kept out a lot of the worst of it. And the room itself, whether it's the heat from the hearth as it sort of is, raised up and entered the higher spaces of the tavern, it has emanated into this space, and you do feel this room to be very cozy. And there looks like there's a very large, like queen-size poster bed that is off to one side. There looks to be a vanity on the other side, along with two very cushy chairs that are seated very close to a fireplace of its own, which is not currently lit. But as you enter this room, you see in the window off to the side, off one side of the queen bed, is looking out onto the wintry, snow-covered city of Thartiod, which looks very ghostly and desolate, as there's nobody else except the three of you.
I definitely light my own fire.
Okay.
Because I can't not.
Okay. There are some logs there that have been left. You chuck them into the fireplace, and you...
Up it goes.
Yep. Starts crackling away.
And then I kneel in front of the fire, and I stick both of my hands into it. And I turn the fire into from this beautiful orange and yellow flame to the blue that my flames are.
Okay.
And I say a little prayer to Daddy. I don't know if Daddy's going to hear me. I don't know if Daddy's going to respond. But it's basically, don't forget about me. Please, I don't want to be here anymore.
Give me an Arcana check.
Oh wait, am I still with disadvantage? On checks, yes. Nat 1.
Only you are a gnome.
You place your hands within the fire, and the flames turn blue, this fiery blue. And if you know anything about flame, blue is the hottest kind of flame. And you reach out. You say those words, almost like a child begging for their parent to not
That's
forget
exactly what she's doing.
And there are no words. You do feel, though, even on an out, just the faintest pressure and push back of a large, fiery blue palm. Almost like you can feel the faintest pressure of a hand against yours. That is there for milliseconds at most, and then is gone. The only thing you can really take from that is that he's still alive.
Elindra will sit back, get into the chair that's closest to the fire, and curl up there. Cry for a few hours, and then go to sleep.
Big.
All right. She just sees her two, compadres go upstairs. She just takes her drink, what was left over, and then she just downs the rest of it, however much was left, Um, and then she grabs her panpipes, like her pan flute, and then she's like glances upstairs, and then she walks out the front door, closes it behind her, trying to be quiet, and then she just starts to play a melody for like a hot second, like really maybe just like a couple of notes. She's playing it, and then she's trying to listen. So
Give
she
me a
plays again.
performance check.
Okay. For the first time, let's see, performance 8. 13.
This is your panpipes. You begin to play this, what's considered a folk song. The first stanza of a folk song in the Feywild. And at first there's nothing. You play this song hoping for words, for some kind of response to let you know that Korth Vol, the ringmaster, is safe. And whether it's through low rolls, but still, as you play this first stanza on your panpipes, in your mind you hear an echo of the next stanza as like a call and response. Still no words, but somebody is still playing with you. And it immediately takes you back to a time in the Feywild as you were taking a break, as you would want to do after traveling through the different worlds within the midnight. I keep saying, almost wanting to say Citadel. Is not Citadel. It is the Twilight Serenade. As the circus would travel to these many different worlds, these many different cities, you would occasionally take a little bit of a sabbatical, a little bit of a rest in the Feywild, as you would return home and sort of be rejuvenated once again with all of the chaotic magic that exists there. And you would be joined by the fairies and the pixies. The odd centaur would show up. Harengon. And you would dance in your circles. And for the most part, Korth Vol, the ringmaster of the Twilight Serenade, would not join. He would watch as the chaos was sort of played its merry mixture in front of him. But you do remember, you have this one key memory of the time when the two of you did play together. And in that way, you are not sure if this is just very brief memory that you have that has sort of replayed itself. No, wait, no, that there was definitely just a sound there. There was definitely just a response. Wasn't words, but it was music. And you take whatever encouragement from that you take.
Big smiles, triumphantly, in fact. She goes, I knew. She's just saying it out. I knew. I passed. And now we wait. I will wait because you told me to. And she just goes back inside, closes the door, goes up the stairs, and tries to find the next lavish room that Elindra didn't take.
You find one that's about halfway down on the left-hand side. Same side as Elindra, but a little bit closer to Belvedere. As you enter, there is a very large hole in the ceiling. And snow is slowly, like, snowflakes are just coming down very slowly into the room. The snow has started to slacken off a little bit, but every now and then little snowflakes will come down. And whether it's from the warmth of the inn that you have created, the fires roaring beneath you in the hearth, or it's just the nature that you possess that you bring into the space with you, but you are not cold. And as the snowflakes very dreamily just sort of cascade down into the room in this one particular area, it's illuminated also by the light of the moon as the clouds have pulled back and have illuminated this room in sort of this very silvery sheen. There is a bed, of course, another queen poster, and the vanity has been almost entirely consumed by vines. And there is a window that is sort of cracked and there's a tiny little hole in it, but you can sort of see out, seeing the very same view that Elindra did. A city that is blanketed in snow, completely abandoned and seemingly lost to time.
He looks around, absolutely smitten with the surroundings, for sure. So she'll just like sashay over to the bed, drop the pack, all the travel stuff, like relax onto the bed, like plop onto it. And she looks up just right where the moon is like peeking through. She's going to druid craft just a little fig there and another smaller one right next to it, just hanging off. So it's almost like her version of like a wind chime, kind of just sitting there, and it just sits. She goes, I know. And then just drifts herself off to sleep.
Okay. Since none of you is taking watch, say the night passes, no event. You all slumber very soundly in the abandoned city of Thartiod. And I need each of you, actually not Fig, I need Elindra and Sir Belvedere to give me a wisdom save.
As a 21.
21.
16.
16. Elindra?
Type a message. Scary. I know these tricks.
X. You just changed the music? Is that what you did? Are you changing the music? Oh shit.
Okay.
Why did he say okay like that?
It's not getting better.
It's not getting better.
Elindra, as sleep takes you, first, your dreams are pleasant. If one can consider dreams of home for you to be pleasant.
Which home?
Exactly. You remember your brothers and sisters, both kinds. And you remember certain moments, both pleasant and sometimes perhaps when words were shared, perhaps cross words were exchanged. Ultimately, no, none of these dreams are standing out to you as unsettling. And then suddenly you find yourself standing once again in the square after having just faced off against Damien Moldark and Queen Nyla Lee. Hovering above you, 6 feet off the ground, stands Graz'zt. Staring down at you. Not anything but a bemused expression on his face, just sort of looking at you. I almost got him, you know.
Oh, this is real.
You don't know.
This is not what happened. No, you didn't. You can't hurt him here.
Can still hurt you.
You know, I am flattered that you miss me so much already.
He chuckles at that. Elindra, I am here as a courtesy. I am aware that there are certain members of the Flame that are traipsing about this world, still working for, and then he looks at you, Daddy. Dear old uncle mine. And while I might be content to allow you to be so much of a busybody, I would advise you, go home. This world is mine. And call it concern, call it just mild curiosity. I don't want to see you hurt.
But you'll hurt me just the same when you come for that throne, won't you?
I hope not. If Uncle is dispatched and, well, for you, Daddy, but when Uncle is out of the way, I shall, hopefully, take possession of the throne of Kenya, housed within the Mephistar. I will be ruler of Kenya as well. Of course, once the throne of Nessus has been procured. But hopefully I shall make proper use of everyone within the unity. Who knows? At this point, he's about 15 feet away from you, hovering 6 feet off the ground. He descends slowly at an angle until he is still towering over you, but his feet have alighted upon the ground. And he bends ever so slightly till he's face to face with you. If it is within my power to grant, I might see myself setting you free. You do wish to be free, right? Not to have your memories toyed with, ripped from you. All those many lives lived, retained inside your mind. Instead of being given up as an offering to Daddy. I don't want to see you used as a tool anymore. So, if we can come to sort of some kind of arrangement where you... And believe me, I don't think he's listening, because I sent him back to where he belongs.
I believe you.
He seems very surprised to hear you say that.
She knows Daddy doesn't have the power to be listening right now.
So what do you say? Do you want to
Team up.
well,
Make a new little family.
he pulls his face slightly back away from you, almost like he's a little bit surprised to hear you say these things out loud. Things that he, just a moment ago, was just sort of thinking. You've spoken into existence. Oh. What a pair we would make. Of course, we'd have to ensure that certain deals were met, certain agreements arranged, oaths prayed.
Think we need a stronger bond for that. Perhaps. Not but a few hours ago, you had your hand on my throat. Though as lovely as that was, what's to say next time you don't just squeeze a little too hard?
I know my limits. And now, thankfully, I know yours. We should keep talking like this. Although if you prefer not to have these conversations while you are dreaming, I totally understand.
Is that not like, is there more that he could do to me in my dreams?
You don't know. Right now, this conversation is perfectly civil. For all intents and purposes.
No, like would having a conversation with him be different from me being like awake to sleeping? What's the difference? Other than perhaps I'm certain that I'm having the conversation.
Well, right now, you know it's impossible for you to actually be in the square in Ashcaleen.
Mm-hmm.
Because currently, based off of what you witnessed, that square doesn't exist.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not here, right?
You mean in Thartiod?
No, I don't think he's here. I think he's in my head. I think this is just us having a conversation. Wherever he is, he still is.
You aren't sure. You are, for all you know, all that you're able to sort of piece together. Actually, you know what? Give me a perception check.
Checks are still with disadvantage. Nat 1.
Okay.
Listen, I'm
You
still
are
rolling with
not-
disadvantage.
You are not able to determine, as of right now, everything. All you're able to know right now is that it would appear that this entire thing is under his control. And The only thing that you can maybe guess at is the fact that whether it's Mephistopheles' weakened state that is keeping, like a veil of protection is weakened around you, and Mephistopheles isn't able to guard against any kind of mental attack, or, and maybe this is compounded in with that, the fact that you are infernal in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And he is able to talk to other infernal beings. All of these sort of things sort of taken together is a disquieting thought. But in this moment, you do realize that Graz'zt is offering to give you control, to not just show up and instead leave it in your court.
And how would I call you? A prayer?
He takes his hand, and with one claw finger basically gestures for you to hold out your hand.
I hold my hand out.
And he, just the faintest prick on your palm. And then he turns your hand over, looking at you in the eye, and then places your hand upon the ground. And then puts his other hand on top of yours. And as he does that, you feel this burning sensation, and suddenly this black smoke suddenly comes out from beneath your palm and begins to coalesce around your hand, and suddenly you pull, almost there's a sharp pain, and then you pull back your hand reflexively, and you see a 6-fingered imprint upon the ground. Yes. That'll do nicely. Just follow these steps. I won't be far away.
Graz'zt.
Elindra.
I want to be the favorite.
Well, we keep talking like this. I say that is within your grasp.
She nods.
This can only end well.
No, right? Shit. Elindra's got to talk to Daddy.
At this point, Graz'zt removes his hand. The smoke disappears from the ground, and he vanishes. And your dreams once again return to just simple memories, sort of fading in and out. Not unpleasant, just old memories. Sir Belvedere, remind me what you got again?
Or wisdom saving throw?
Yep.
It was a 21.
21. Great. As you...
I would say that after a few, maybe an hour subsides, he just kind of stops and then decides to lay down as comfortably as he can, but he just doesn't get it. It's like, I'll figure it out in the morning. This is just too much right now.
As you lie down and you begin to try to sleep, you suddenly realize that sleep at every turn is eluding you. In fact, you realize in this moment, in a kind of worried way, you're not tired. You aren't fatigued, even. And you know you should be, given the strenuous activity going down a mountainside in the middle of a massive blizzard snowstorm, carrying somebody, although however slight they may be, traversing a river. You should feel some level of exhaustion, and you don't. You don't feel tired.
He will kind of nervously laugh and at the notion of that, of just how none of this makes sense. And just try and do something that has helped him in the past. And that is to just kind of, again, in a more kind of meditative way, just dwell on the tenets of devotion until he kind of just, you know how like people use breathing techniques to focus solely on breathing?
Mm-hmm.
He will do the same, but with his mind, and just do not lie or cheat. Let your word be your promise. Never fear to act, though caution is wise. Aid others, protect the weak, and punish those who threaten them. Show mercy to your foes, but temper it with wisdom. Treat others with fairness, and let your honorable deeds be an example to them. Do as much good as possible while causing the least amount of harm. Be responsible for your actions and their consequences. Protect those entrusted to your care, and obey those who have just authority over you. And he will repeat that over and over again until he kind of gets into a Zen mode.
Okay. As you are repeating this over and over and over again, would you consider this to be a prayer of sorts?
This is a mantra of, what he uses to calm his mind whenever there is too much going on, or perhaps he needs to focus. Relying on the tenets that he has trained his self to be so disciplined to has always been a good stability technique.
But not a prayer.
He finds that his prayer is meant to be that his actions speak his devotion to his divinity, or his divine beliefs.
Okay.
The tenets
actions speak louder than words.
Yeah. The tenets in itself become kind of a prayer, but the prayer itself is never something he's actively done. It's more of like being in moments of reverence, or just being, respectful of holy sites whenever he's been upon them, or any hallowed ground that he's stepped upon. He's making sure that he acts accordingly.
Okay.
For one does not want when they are devoted, for they have no need to want, only to give themselves for the need of others.
Okay.
Or at least this is what he believes in his heart of hearts.
As you utter these words and repeat them over and over again, you eventually enter a state that you are very unfamiliar with. You are suddenly hyper aware of everything in your surroundings, in your immediate surroundings in this room. Anything even moves, you suddenly hear it amplified. You hear down the hall the steady breathing of Fig. You hear Elindra shuffling very faintly. Can't really make out. Sounds like they're talking, but you're not entirely sure. Words are not something you can make out. You suddenly get a sense that everything appears to be safe inside this tavern. Nothing out of the ordinary. Night passes, and you all awaken, or in Sir Belvedere's case, exit stasis mode.
Wiggles the mouse.
Exactly. And you all arrive on a new day.
A new dawn.
Mm.
We'll say this counts as a long rest. Point of exhaustion, again, removed for Elindra. How many do you have now?
Just the one.
Just the one.
Is there a prick in my hands?
As you look at your left hand, Elindra, it looks like the very faintest of marks. Like something did. It's like, you know, say you injure your hand and a week goes by and the wound is, it's still there. Like there's still a mark that says, oh yeah, I received a puncture, but it's been a week and it's now fully healed. It's on a, you know.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a mark there.
Jokes. Good to know.
Fig, you awaken the next day and it's like a scene in a Disney princess movie where suddenly all the wooden critters suddenly just appear. But suddenly you're sitting, you're lying down on the bed, and suddenly you feel just sort of the faintest rustle of something pitter-pattering on your tummy.
Mhm.
And you look down, or yeah, you sort of adjust your head and you look down and you see what looks to be a snow bunny. Just this white, pure white, almost albino cottontail bunny.
All the scritches.
You're just giving it script. It doesn't move. It, in fact, just sort of warms to your hand,
Yeah.
immediately loving everything that you're doing. Sir Belvedere, you exit stasis mode. And
Whatever that means.
whatever that means. And you look around and you hear the faintest sounds of movement from the other rooms, alerting you to the fact that your traveling companions are awake.
I think he stays in the room.
Okay. What do
He's
you do?
not sure what to do. He's very confused. And he's been kind of sitting still again. And he looks at his wrist and he knows what's going to happen. And he's so hesitant to do it anyway. But he just slightly tugs at the gauntlet.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
16.
16. As you, again, you feel like you know what's going to happen. It's not going to move. It's not going to budge. Why would it? It hasn't budged so far. But as you pull, suddenly there is a sound of metal screeching against metal and a click. And suddenly, and the gauntlet comes off. And there's nothing there.
Do it.
So I'm holding my hand in my hand.
You're holding your hand. Suddenly there is a rush, a sound of wind, and the faintest, there's almost like an acidic smell in the air. And suddenly you're not in the inn anymore. You look around. The only way to really describe the room that you're currently standing in is palatial. In fact, yes, it does look like almost like a room in a palace. And that's when you recognize the candles on the floor.
You're about to propose to me?
No, he's going to sacrifice you.
One and the same.
You see the candles on the floor. And you see there are tapestries on the walls outlining various moments of historical significance in what appears to be the kingdom of Nimrion. But in many cases, these tapestries have massive tears, almost like a giant claw has torn through them. As you look
Yeah, I
around,
look down. Is my hand still in my
yeah,
hand?
you're still holding your hand, very much. Still holding your hand.
Oh, wonderful.
As you look around, you see at the very far end of this room, there looks to be a throne. 2 thrones, actually. One slightly higher than the other, on top of a dais. Candles on the walls, suddenly alight, illuminating the room. It's at that point you notice that across, down a ways, coming towards you, it's a figure clapping at you. They appear to be a human, clad
Take my
in
hand
black
and
armor.
point it at myself.
It looks to be black armor, but definitely an armor that you recognize very well. They have to be a paladin of Bahamut, but paladins of Bahamut don't wear black armor.
You there, Sir Knight? Are you of my order?
I'm gonna level with you right now. I'm so thrilled to meet you. Oh, you're one of the missing ones, right?
What?
Hey.
What?
He reaches out and he stretches out his hand to you, almost as if he wants to shake your hand. My name's Garth.
It's now holding on to the hand that I've just let go and basically handed to him.
Oh, this is so funny. Look at this.
Yes, it's hilarious.
No, I'm not of your order. At least not anymore.
And why are you dressed in such familiar garb?
Well, it's my armor now.
What do you mean it's your armor? Did you take it from someone?
No, it's always been mine. It's just more mine now.
I find myself now with laden even more questions upon myself.
Great. That's what this time is for. Go ahead, ask your questions.
What?
Come on.
What am I?
Oh, well, I mean, that's really heavy. I'm sorry.
I know that I am a knight of the Order of the Platinum Dragon. I know. I had a life. I've lived a life, and then I am told that I have 2 years of that life gone by, and
as you say 2 years of your life gone, his eyes narrow at you. And the torchlight you see begins to fully illuminate his face as he's gotten closer to you. Not in the circle of candles, but you see a very handsome human face. Man with short brown hair, kind of moppy a little bit in the front, beard, green eyes. Like, way greener than you think any human man's eyes should be. Very green. You see sort of this focus suddenly come over him. 2 years of your life, you say? Huh. That's interesting. So, my name is Garth. What's your name?
I'm Sir Belvedere.
Sir Belvedere. Sir Belvedere the...
We never got that far.
Oh. Rotten luck, that.
I was told. Why am I injured? Have I lost limbs? Is why there is no flesh beneath this particular hand of mine? Am I incapacitated? Has this armor taken pieces of me? Am I no longer whole? Why can I no longer taste? Why do smells not? Why are there not vagrancies? Why is there nothing in my senses? What is this armor done to me? What happened that day?
Sir B, buddy, it just seems like you've got a lot of questions. And you know what? I think I might have some answers. But I'm going to have you do some more remembering for me. Because
what is left to remember? So much of a life that has already been betrayed. I had my family. I've grown up in the farms, in the fields. I have became a squire. I grew up to learn the tenets of the oaths. I bestowed my entire life and fortune into becoming.
He waves his hand, and suddenly the sounds that you think you should be making from your voice are gone. You suddenly cannot talk. It's like, sorry to interrupt you there. It's just, you're getting really amped up. And I think that I just have a lot of questions. And I don't want my time wasted. I have a very limited amount of time to ask you these things. And I tried asking these ones, and they weren't of much help. And at that point, he gestures behind you. And you see, for the first time, a pile of armored corpses, all of them wearing the plate of Bahamut.
He unsheaths his sword immediately and draws it towards him.
Did you put your hand back on?
Yeah.
As you do that,
Click.
he sort of like steps back. Buddy, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try and stab me? Oh, that really wouldn't turn out so well for you. It's on the you as you have your sword brandished at him. Suddenly there is a flicker of light from the torches. Suddenly the room goes completely dark. And then suddenly there is a flash. And for a brief second, you do not see the human Garth standing in front of you. What you see chills your blood. Do you have blood? You don't know. It's one of those things that, one of these thoughts that you suddenly have that's like, oh, my blood is, oh wait, I don't know if I even have blood. Do I have blood? Oh my gods! And you suddenly see before you a massive, muscled, scaled, winged form of a black dragon with eyes as green as emeralds, with jaws, massive jaws, with sword-like teeth dripping, slavering jaws of acid onto the floor. And then suddenly flickers back. You see Garth standing before you once again. Oh, sorry. I don't like to let the other one out. But, if you keep going on with that, things are going to get really, really messy. You seem to be a gentleman who's lost a little bit of time. So I'm going to ask you some questions like, where'd you lose the time? Where have you been? You said 2 years. Where were you for those 2 years?
And he attempts to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. And he just sort of like gestures in your direction. And suddenly you find your voice.
I don't know. I was going to finish the ceremony and be given my full title when the tower began to fall.
Hold on. So I'm not even talking to a knight?
I am a knight.
I don't know. Whole ceremony not being finished. It's a key part there. Need that title in order to be the Sir Belvedere of whatever the hell.
I awoke.
How about I just call you Bell? How about that?
I love him so much.
I'll just call you Bell.
This guy.
And, it just, the whole brevity thing, I'm very much into that,
I awoke in the snow after the tower fell.
Oh, and snow. Snow where?
I don't know.
Okay. So, where are you right now?
I don't know.
Hey. I don't believe you. Listen. I'm gonna come clean here because, again, the whole brevity thing. But if you don't start telling me what I want to know, I'm just gonna keep talking to you. Every time you try to reach out to Big Daddy Bahamut and you try to use that magic that, by rights you really shouldn't have because you're not a knight. You're just some guy in some armor. And
that tips him over the edge, and he's going to thrust his sword forward.
As you thrust your sword forward, it's almost as it passes through the barrier that is outlined in the candle, suddenly the sword breaks into a million shards and is suspended in air. Not falling to the ground, it breaks upon the barrier and... See, that right there, I was trying to tell you, like, that is the whole thing I'm trying to avoid. That. I want to help you, Belle.
Then leave me alone.
Can't do that. You see, I know you might think of me as some big, bad, evil guy in the armor, but I answer to someone who's bigger and badder. And kind of expect me to get some shit done. So, any help you can provide, I would love it.
You talk too much.
You know what? It's funny you should say that. I have been told that. I mean, even just today. But you see, these guys, they all said the same thing. But
is there like a window that they are near?
They're actually all of the windows are on your right hand side. There's like 10 pillars as they proceed towards the throne, and there are these massive curtains, but you can see out of the patio out past the curtains onto the patio, out past that, there is a window space.
What is the nearest, heaviest thing he'd be able to push this douchebag into?
One of the pillars.
He's just gonna like run up and try and like grab and do that like push against the pillar thing.
Okay. I need you to give me another Constitution saving throw.
That's a 7.
Okay. As you rush towards him, he just sort of shakes his head. And time, as you make impact with the barrier, there is immediate force that acts against you, and it's almost like time stops. He's like, okay, we'll have to continue this another time. Just know, I have other people that I'm going to be talking to. And it sounds like you're the one I really need to talk to. But till then, I'm just going to have to distract myself with more of these. I know that there's a lot of you out there. And I know that some of you have been coming back here to Ashcaleen to find out whatever the heck happened to Big Daddy Bahamut's temple. But I think you know where it is. I think you've been there. So yeah. We're gonna keep talking. And you suddenly find yourself like lurching forward, almost like someone's been pushing up against you, and you've been pushing up against them, and suddenly they like step to the side, and you like fall onto the bed again, just face first. You stand up, dust yourself off.
Take the chair away from the door, from not letting it be locked anymore, and I quietly walk downstairs and just kind of look around at everything. As if to be like, yep, all still here. Two other people? Good. That is how many of us there were in total previously.
There is
2, 3.
There is the fire in the hearth of the tavern that is not lit anymore. It's just coals. Still warm though. And Elindra and Fig, you find your ways out of your rooms on a new day. And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Oh, I hate whoever that was.
I love him so much. He's so much better. Oh my god.
I'm gonna kill that guy.
Ash.
I'm gonna kill that dragon.
Thank you all for watching. Please consider tuning in next time to another episode of Shadows of Ashcaleen, where we find out what the heck is going on with all of our characters. Love you. Hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope you roll nothing but nat 20s. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Hate that dragon.